Let me go for one day, let me lose myself again. Give me something for the pain, always trying to pretend that I'm not living just a lie. Broken heart and shattered lives. Let me go for one day, let me lose myself.
Hey guys, welcome back to Passion for Petrol. Today I've got a very special car on the channel for you indeed. The BMW M240i, which has been very kindly lent to us. Look at this thing. Honestly, I hated this when it first came out, but seeing it in the flesh, this is a really pretty car. And it doesn't really photograph well in all fairness, to be honest with you. I've tried to get some good cinematics of it, but yeah, you have to take my word for it, guys. Personal favourite touches. So we've got the front grille. This thing opens up when you're driving along to let more air in. It's got an active grille system, which I think is really cool. Got your BMW signature lights on the front. This is shared across the platform with the M2 as well. I think they look quite nice. Little front splitter on the front as well as standard. 19-inch wheels all round. The fronts are not as wide as the back though, even though this is an all-wheel drive car. It's got X-Drive. Twin exhaust at the back connected to the 3-litre inline 6B58 engine that powers this car. What an absolute powerhouse and incredibly tunable if you guys are into that kind of thing. This particular version is pushing out 374 brake horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque, which is quick. This sprints from 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, making it the quickest in its class, but also the most expensive in its class, and I'll get into that in a bit. We're now on the interior of the M240i, guys, and let me tell you, this is a really lovely place to be. Everything you touch is leather and quality, as you'd expect from a BMW. You've got a lovely screen spanning across the dashboard. Obviously, all your information will be on there. It's quite a minimalistic interior, actually. Makes you really feel like you're in. Everything's oriented towards the driver. It's really, really nice. The seating position itself, good. It's low down, it's sporty. The seats are actually shared with the M2, so you get those in the M240i as standard, I believe. But yeah, it's just a really nice place. When you open the door, you get a little chime and a welcome screen. Everything, yeah, it's a really great interior. Practicality-wise, we have a really big storage compartment in there with a USB-C. Everything here, as I said before, quite minimalistic. There's not too much clutter. You've got 2 cup holders in there with your wireless charging pad just at the back. Door cards, not amazingly massive, as is kind of the same across BMW models, but yeah, enough for your water bottle at least. And glove box wise, tiny, absolutely tiny, but you can fit a microfiber in there. No shock there's one in here, because this car is absolutely spotless, thanks to Paul, who has lent this to me. Driving the M240i. I'm with the owner Paul, who's very kindly lent it, so thank you, Paul.
No worries,
good. It's actually quite a smooth ride. We've got it in comfort because that's what you normally drive it in, and it feels fairly firm, but you know, compliant enough for daily driving, I'd say. But yeah, it's a pretty smooth drive so far. I've not got it in sport. I'm going to try it in sport and see what that's saying, but there is quite a lot of traffic, so can't go too crazy with it. Weight-wise, I think one of the most controversial points of this car was the weight, because it was 1690 kg, which seems quite heavy, but actually when you compare performance figures to other cars in its class, it beats them. I think some of the cars are coming in, you know, 200, 250 kg less, like the Audi S3 or Golf R, but on paper this car does not handle like the weight of it, really. It does have more power, but I think overall the X-Drive system and the LSD on the back, it's made the car feel pretty nimble, and actually it doesn't feel heavy at all in terms of, not really gone too quick with it, but it feels like a fairly lightweight car, I'd say. But it's got a really nice sound to it. I'm gonna try and get a bit more.
Yeah, the B58's got a great sound, hasn't it?
Awesome car. It's why it's so popular. Well, that and you know, reliability and the tunability. Yeah. People call it the modern day 2JZ that you find in the Supras and stuff, because they're just so bulletproof and.
But it is thirsty, you know. I said to you, I mean, I don't drive it at all fast. Most of my driving is start, stop, short journeys, and since I've owned it, I'm only getting just over 22 miles to the gallon.
It's that's That's quite heart-wrenching, actually.
Yeah. So if I drove it like a loony, I'd probably get in lower teens.
Yeah, no, I'd
to the
imagine.
gallon.
You know, price-wise compared to the M2, I think I said this in the video before, but it's another like 15 grand for the M4. Sorry, M2.
Yeah.
What was M4?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you're getting a car that's 0.3 seconds faster than 0 to 60,
Yeah.
with quite a bit more brake horsepower, but actually figures-wise, it doesn't stack up. I understand it's rear-wheel drive, probably got different dynamics, but for an all-round package for around 48 grand, you're getting, you know, all-wheel drive, you're getting a reliable engine, you're getting. It just seems like a really good deal, to be fair.
Well, this car when I bought it, it's only 6 months old. It was, I think it was first week in February when I got it. With all the extras on it, this was list price was just under 53,000.
So yeah, expensive. It's actually really. The cabin's really insulated, isn't it? You don't hear too much from the like road noise or anything.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with newer BMs actually, because I've watched some videos of the M4 on YouTube with new exhaust on, and they're saying, you know, with your windows up, it doesn't even sound like you've done anything to it. But yeah, they've done I think quality-wise, you know, there's not a single rattle, is there?
No.
I'm sure if there was, it'd drive you absolutely nuts.
I think the purists moan that the exhaust sound isn't what it should be.
Oh right, okay.
You know, because they do take.
We'll have a GPF filter in it as well, won't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be, I mean, that's just modern day emissions thing, isn't it?
I mean, to be honest, when I drive it, I very rarely have the radio on. I could just like listen to the engine.
Yeah.
True, honestly, I very rarely have the radio on.
I find that in mine, and my engine sounds shit. So, it has no throttle at all, and it's definitely, and the torque's there straight away as well.
Yeah.
There's no spooling up for that. That's pretty cool, actually. When was it? I think as soon as I opened the door, and I thought, that's a really nice interior. When you sit in it, and it's just like, I think the seats are perfect.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people when this first came out said, "What's the ugliest BMW ever?"
No, I know.
It got a lot of criticism, particularly from the rear end as well. Saying basically how crap it looked.
I was saying in my intro though, I said, well, when it first came out, I had the same opinion. But I think you find that with just new models anyway. Like, I was a big Fiesta fan, and then they brought out the Mark 8, and I thought, what is that piece of crap? And then I ended up owning one because it grew on me. And same with this, but I think this doesn't photograph well. I think when you see one in the flesh, you understand what they've done with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think generally speaking, the M2 is more aggressive looking, isn't it? But this is more sleek.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it still looks muscular and wide, and the black accents on the bottom. It's got like a bit of a retro thing going on. And yeah, no, I actually really love how this car looks. And in terms of,
they've actually updated this recently. And so now the steering wheel's a flat bottom steering wheel.
Nice.
And where you've got the gloss black trim on the beneath the doors, and that's now body colour, which I actually prefer it to be black, to be honest. I've seen pictures of it, of a red one, where it's all red in it. To me, it looks better with the gloss black.
That's quick.
Yeah, I've never driven it that quick.
Have you not?
No, definitely not.
And the gear shifts are quite like aggressive as well.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting, but it's I think it's a torque converter gearbox, isn't it?
As I say, I'm just a boring comfort zone man, so you're getting more out of it than I ever have.
Just tell me to not do it if you don't like it. It's fine. Typical manufacturers have put a massive screen in there, and it's kind of lazy. But with this, it's more driver oriented, and you feel. I was saying this when I did it. It's like a nice cockpit feel. You've got everything geared towards you, and actually, everything's just really sort of well thought out. I think. How do you find using the system?
Yeah, it's really intuitive.
Yeah.
It's very responsive. You know, when you're flicking around. But I will usually tend to use that.
The wheel at the bottom instead.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to focus on everything, especially with 374 horsepower. You don't really want to be looking at it.
Yeah.
It loses a bit towards the top end, but there's a lot of torque down at the bottom, which is nice. Worrying. The camera, we were just watching a video of how to do launch control, and Paul's face dropped because it looked quite scary. The back end kicked out when the guy was doing it, so I didn't really want that to happen. But yeah, I think that will be the rear bias kicking in, but I don't know. I think we might leave a launch control for today.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, of course. Maybe at some point when you're asleep,
yeah,
come and take the car.
Don't think I'll fall asleep while you're driving.
No, that's fair enough.
I mean, they always say that the tyres that are on this are the best tyres. Power Sport 4S's.
Yeah,
I think in the USA, I think they put Pirellis on them.
Right, Pirellis, generally speaking, I've heard bad things about.
Yeah.
Normally. Yeah, no, Pilot Sport 4S seems to be the ones to go for. I think people want them over the Pilot Sport 5 as well. Because they're just a better. I mean,
is the 5 a newer tyre then? Is that?
5's a newer tyre, but supposedly not as good as the 4S.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you look at any sort of high horsepower car that's being filmed, they go for 4S all the time. It must be expensive per wheel though.
Well, I say when I had that puncture a couple of weeks ago, it would have been, I think, £260 something, I think.
Oh, for one.
Including fit.
See, Paul, that's so fun. I don't know why you don't drive everywhere like that.
I must admit, it does sound great. I've never heard it sound like that while I've been driving it. In the 6 months I've had it, it does sound great.